Hello, lovelies. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome here for the first time. That is Benny the cat, El Gato, the pet of my landlord while I'm staying for the month in Mexico. And the sun card from Molly Applejohn, Eden Cook, Julia Ireland, and Krista Gibbert's Astaro Tarot is on the left. I wanted to share with you today my Wheel of Life spread for 2024. Normally I draw this spread on camera and post the video, or post it live sometimes. But this year we pulled cards together in the Mindful Tarot Certificate Program, my cohort year-long training program, which has been such that group and it's been such a deep and enriching delight, and we had a wonderful time. Everyone in the program, part of the program is to participate in the Drop 'em 78 challenge. Info about the program, about the challenge is below. I will be holding, just FYI, an informational meeting about this next cohort for the Mindful Tarot Certificate Program in early February. So if you're interested in the program, it doesn't start till June of this year. Payment plans available, et cetera, all that good stuff. I'm super excited to be able to continue this work of mentorship, of community building, of growth for myself, of connection with folks who love the tarot. So anyway, check out that info and come to the information session if you're interested. Okay, so that card, the Sun card, it's my January card. And you know, the Sun is the card of clarity, of understanding, of enlightenment, of everything that the Sun stands for, which is actually restoration. I mean, it's sort of the Sun in the classic Marseille tradition or the Waite-Smith tradition. References are returning to paradise after the fall. We're in the Sun card. We are close to the end of that journey of the Fool, that hero's journey of transformation that the major arcana is depicting. So this card, this Sun card, is just, first of all, it's a little bit unusual because it's a female, but she herself is in shadow. One of the things that this card always invites me to consider is how our yearning for clarity necessarily puts something into shadow. We can't see everything all at once, so it's important to lean into the desire to know and to understand, but to recognize that there is always inevitably a shadow. Also, I love her insectoid wings. And that she's female, because the Sun is usually, traditionally in Western metaphysics, is gendered male. So this is where my year's starting out. It's starting out with the Sun, with that desire for clarity, and that rings really true for me. I'm kind of like, I'm pushing hard to kind of get to the bottom of my shite, The 50s for me are the decade, I'm in my 50s, the decade of that turning toward greater and greater understanding, greater integration. So I'm starting there. My February card is the Four of Swords. In this deck, all of the fours in the minor arcana bring forward rabbits or hares, and I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. I love this image. Do I have it upside down? No, I have it right side up. I love, this depiction of the rest and ceasefire, the truce that the Four of Swords announces. So this is suggesting to me the ways in which this yearning for clarity, this yearning for the light, requires an equal attention to that. In Zen we talk about taking the backward step, that retreat where we stop trying to shine the light out into the world and we allow ourselves to come back to the center of our own awareness, the center of the world of our own understanding and knowing. And just a kind of word of clarification here about the Wheel of Life. I'll drop in a picture here of last year's Wheel of Life, which I was able to photograph in my shrine room back in Oregon, and so it's a pretty picture. I don't have all my tools here in Oaxaca, but the Wheel of Life it's not just, as I understand this year ahead spread, it's not just trying to tell me what's going to happen. Apologies for the noise in the background, by the way. It's a noisy evening here in the heart of the city. It's not just trying to tell me what's going to happen month by month. Like, I never think of the tarot that way as kind of, first of all, I'm not clairvoyant. I'm not predicting the future, but I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking about this moment in my life and how each part of me is in motion, and that movement of the parts of me, the parts of my life, my mind, my heart, my body, that unfolds over time, over the course of a year. It also unfolds over time, over the course of a day. So the cycles and exchanges that the wheel of life enacts are things I can understand as playing out in slow-mo over the course of a year, or even longer, a lifetime, but also I can understand them as this is where I am moving, how I'm moving this year, this movement from Sun to Four of Swords, to my March card, which is really, really interesting, I think, as the March card, which is the Four of Wands, this sense of coming home, right? So that sense, like this movement toward clarity and the way it entails, oops, that's going to drop toward Benny, that's okay. This movement toward clarity and the way it entails the rest and retreat and withdrawing and meditation of the Four of Swords then takes me closer to home, or gets me closer to my yearning for home and my desire to build a home. So that's March. But from home in April, I go to, this is the Judgment card, which is very intense in this deck, as folks pointed out in the Mindful Tarot Facebook page. This, I hadn't even noticed that the soldier on the right of the card is missing a hand, and yet his other hand is comforting his buddy, or his enemy. That was one of the readings that someone had clarified for this card. Like, maybe this is about the retribution, like the way in which actions have consequences, and judgment is about the reckoning of that. For me, the Judgment card has always been about calling and about realization, that rendering account and coming into account for ourselves and our realizing of our lives. So that's April. I come home, and then that readiness for calling. And actually there's some stuff that's happening in my life that I know is happening in early April that relates to my Zen practice. And so that might be something that, if I thought that the tarot was predictive, no, I mean, I'm leaning into that, right? This is how this world is moving for me right now. So I see my calling card, my calling card coming forward there. So that's April. And this is May. And this is the Two of Wands in this deck. That sense of yearning for freedom. You know, this is a card that's all about being on the brink of exploration. So it's interesting that that's what follows, that's the moment, the beat that follows the calling card, the card about vocation, is this, okay, I'm on the brink, am I gonna step through the portal? The Two of Wands is that invitation to adventure. Am I going to take the invitation? Am I going to follow the bird? In June, which is my birth month, my birthday month, I get the Devil. Oh, yeah. The Devil for me, you know, it's actually an inviting card, because it's the card of coming to terms with karma. You know, it's the way we are prisoners in a sense. We're disconnected. I love how his left hand is severed at the wrist. There's kind of this disconnection, this dissociation. Also, his head is disconnected from his neck. I mean, this whole figure of the Devil. How do we find freedom? And I love the echo here. I'm just seeing it now. The echo between the bird cages and the cages in the Devil. So that sense of like, the karma that entraps us simply because we're not kind of willing to recognize it, we're not integrating all parts of ourselves, that karma is perhaps what makes it hard to respond to the call to adventure, that in this sequence of cards has been initiated with the Judgment card, that call, the calling card, Then we see it in the Two of Wands, and now we're seeing it in the Devil. And then I get to July. Now, some of you know very well, because I talk about it incessantly, that July is my Tower month. You know, it's the month that I historically have had just year after year of shitty cataclysmic things happening to me, but also this opportunity which the Tower always provides of seeing the grace of cataclysm, the way that the heavens meet the earth, sometimes in very traumatic ways, but that grace moment of recognition. And this is who I am when it all comes down, when push comes to shove. But this Tower month is about dropping anchor, right? My July is the Six of Pentacles, being in a world of complete reciprocity. The Six of Pentacles is a card that I've had a lot of trouble with because the Waite Smith depiction of it is so, to me, very shadowy, with its evocation of the nobleman who stands on high and kind of metes out his wares to the worthy, but perhaps not to those he deems to be unworthy. But this one, you know, she's gone deep. The pentacles in Molly Applejohn's depiction in this deck are very watery, and she's gone deep, right? She's a mermaid under the sea in the depths with pentacles with coins. They're actually called coins in this deck, with coins that all have anchors on them. So that sense of really, after grappling with karma, being able to drop deep into the rich, abundant generosity of the universe just in time for my August card, which is the Queen of Swords, and a card that I identify with very strongly in terms of grief and melancholy, and that sense of cutting to the bone that can occur if you live in the land of swords. Life cuts you to the bone. She's holding a Kalas sword, which looks wavy like water. You know, she's the queen, so she's watery. But the Kalas sword, that type of sword, is wavy in that way to make it easier to withdraw from bone, so that you can jab your opponent again and again. It's a very deadly sword. The Queen of Swords. Her life is not easy, that one. And from the Queen of Swords and the grief that might follow this moment of great abundance in July, that August grief, cutting to the bone, I go to my, the Vigilance card, the Nine of Wands in September. You know, this sense of trying to peer into the darkness and standing tall and strong. And the nines in this deck all have cats in them. Benny. You are a 9 in the Ostara Tarot. You are a 9. Nines always come home. You know, the nines. If you take any number and multiply it by 9, and then you reduce the digits, you add the digits together, you end up with 9 again. Any number at all. So there's a sense in which the number 9 always brings us home, and this is vigilance. This is vigilance at home in September. Moving into October, which is the poverty card for me in this deck. Interesting. So, you know, and she has an asp wrapping up her body, that kundalini of the wands. I'm a very wandsy kind of person. Fire tends to be really strong in any reading for myself that I do. But her fire, it's the fire of the asp. It's self-defeating, it's poverty consciousness, it's venomous, it's the snake in the Garden of Eden. And you see the snake also wound through the coins in the stained glass window. So, you know, this poverty consciousness that follows the vigilance and valor of the Nine of Wands, which then takes us to November 24. November 2024. If you live in the United States, it is a month that I think we're all on edge about. And here I am, here's my fire. Fire of fire, the Knight of Wands. This card is telling me who I am going to be. So I sort of feel like September and October Well, even August, so the movement from August, September, October, from the Queen of Swords to the Nine of Wands to the Five of Pentacles maybe is preparing me for the fire that I will want to embody, that bravery and courage, bringing light into the world as much as I can. This is not, again, I don't think this is predictive. I'm not saying, okay, but it is reflecting a movement in my heart that is active even now, today, on January 3rd. This Knight of Wands is here for me, is a part of me, and this is showing how that movement unfolds so that I can be conscious of how the year, how I can use these energies in the year ahead. And then from the Knight of Wands in November, I go to the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups. The card, the ultimate card of coming home, right? Of a home that is the fullest, truest, most authentic home of the heart of the soul. Completely, again, this is a watery card, but now we're in the Land of Cups. But it reminds me in its sense of free flow and love and interchange and sharing, flowing together. It reminds me of what we saw in the July card of the Six of Pentacles in this deck. Okay, so my method of casting the Wheel of Life is to pull all of the month cards first, and then to end the journey with ta-da, my hub card, which, yes, I laughed out loud when I pulled it. It's the Emperor. The Emperor is my soul card. I don't particularly love this depiction of the Emperor, but it's the one I got. I only don't love it because there's like sort of a Coachella Burning Man kind of like sexy hot vibe to this guy, and I don't know. I mean, what a hunk, yeah, but come on, I don't know. Anyway, be that as it may, this is my Emperor. The Emperor is my soul card. You know, it's the card that arises for me when I put together my birth date, right? And it is such a perfect card for me because I am all about order, building worlds, stability, creating meaning, creating sense. That is who and what I am. And it's also my shadowy, shadowy, shadowy side. And as some of you have been following my postings for Drop 'em 78, as you might know at this point, this time in Mexico, I've been really confronting the ways in which I'm getting the high sign from my hubby who wants to go eat, but I'm almost done. I've been really confronting the ways in which it's essential to balance that desire for control with the ability to surrender. And I think this is telling me, yeah, okay, Esther, this year is going to be the hub of this year, what holds all of these cards together in their movement, what they all connect to, back and forth, interchange among them. What's at the very heart of this is my identity as Emperor, as that kind of person trying to build the world, trying to help the world, trying to hold the world, trying to make sense of the world, all of my fourness, right? This is the year that I'm going to be exploring that, embodying that, working through the kinks and the corners of that in great depth. And I'm really interested how my birth month of the devil can help me, just keeping that in mind can help me think about the karma of being the Emperor. All right, that is what I got. Toodaloodles, folks. Wishing you so much love, so much happiness, so much health and peace and safety and clarity and a sense of purpose and calling this new year. My love to you. Thank you so much for your practice. Take good care.